let's go skinny dipping. And we went and the lady came out.
I think you're funny as well.
Oh, thanks. We're finally doing the Q&A that I got you guys to ask those questions back in 2 weeks ago. But we're finally going to do it, so I thought we could do a mukbang Q&A. So we got some sushi. That's yours. I always feel awkward when they I'm like, more mayo, and they give me one more. I'm like, and another one, please. I haven't looked at the questions, so I don't know what any of them say. When's the wedding? That one got asked so many times. When is the wedding? Well, we were waiting. We were going to wait because I wanted Huds and Dusty to be able to both walk in it. So probably when Dusty can walk. And I want to get my boobs fixed too before that happens, and you can't get that done until 3 months after you stop breastfeeding. So
You have to.
we'll probably plan it next year for maybe the year after. There's no point in planning it now because I don't know what I want to do.
By then you'll be back at the gym.
Yeah, I want to be fit, I want to feel good.
Yeah.
I don't want to get married and be a slob.
So yes.
Nah. What was Dusty's name going to be? I was watching your name TikTok. Funny story. So it was going to be Knox, right? But I think we spoke about it.
Yeah, we agreed on it.
Yeah, but not a lot. Like, we didn't speak about it a lot. We just said it, and then we were like, all right, yep, we'll do that.
Yeah,
And
it wasn't like how we felt with Hudson's name. We were just like, oh yeah, that's cool.
We didn't really love it, but we didn't know any names that we loved. So we were just kind of like, oh yeah.
We'll just go with it.
So then, because it was getting close to the time, and then literally the next day I ordered a name plaque with Knox on it. And you guys would have saw I put it on my story, and then Troy, then I had it for weeks. Hey, the name plaque.
Yeah, and we just ran with it. We were just like, yeah, that's his name.
Like, we were ready to go with that as the name. And then one day I was in the shower and I thought, I don't want to name him that anymore. I want to name him Dusty.
No, but we already spoke about Dusty, but then we chose Knox.
I think we didn't want to choose it because it was a little bit too different, and we thought people would be like, what the fuck?
And you got the name plaque.
Yeah.
And then in the back of my head, I was like thinking, I want to change it to Dusty, but I didn't have the heart to tell you because you ordered the name plaque.
But then I was in the shower one day and I realised I wanted to name him Dusty. So I just told Troy, I'm like, I ordered another name plaque today, Dusty, and then he was like, oh, thank fuck.
Yeah.
Because that's what he wanted in the first place.
Yeah.
He was just going to let us name him Knox, and he didn't even like it.
Or because you got a name plaque.
Just because I ordered a $20 name plaque. But thank God we changed it because I love Dusty. Yeah. Then everyone loves it. I don't know why. I was just worried about what other people would think, but I don't care now.
No.
Oh, did we have any names picked? Any other names picked? It was just Knox and Dusty. I liked Sunny. But
we liked River, but we couldn't do it. Oh
yeah, that's right. We liked River. We couldn't do it because Hudson River. It's not happening.
Not happening.
And I loved Sunny, but Troy wouldn't do it because it was Sunny Simonet. Right. He didn't like it. But that's it, really. Then we only ever settled on Knox and then Dusty, and that was it.
Yeah.
Would you like any more babies? No way. Never, ever, ever.
No, that's it.
There's not one part of me that wants another one. I don't even care. What are the challenges becoming parents for the first time when you guys had your first? The lack of sleep.
Yeah, that was the main thing.
And then we would be grumpy because we didn't sleep.
Yeah.
But Huds was terrible. Like, he wouldn't sleep, and then when he was awake, he would cry.
Yeah.
Like, it was just too much.
Yeah, it was just asleep. That was it.
Yeah.
But
other than that, but we didn't fight much. We were just like on edge.
Yeah, it's just like when you're tired and you get snappy.
Yeah. But it wasn't like fights or anything.
No.
Are we married? No. How the fuck can two people be so aesthetically pleasing? That's so nice. What presets do I use for my Insta? I use presets by Sky and Freya, and I mostly use the Angel preset, and then I tone it down a little bit and take the grain off.
Same.
What are some baby girl names that you love? I love your baby boy names. We already have one set, and I loved it, and that's probably why I was upset that we didn't have a girl. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
And it was Callie. We knew that we would have named our girl that since we had HUDs.
Yeah. And then we were like, if we have a boy, we'll be struggling to find the name.
Because we just only knew a girl's name.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I thought Callie's so cool, like California. But that really bothered me that I never got to use that.
Well, that's it.
And I'll never use it because I'm not having another. How long have we been together? It will be 5 years in January. We got pregnant after 3 months. Like just 3 months. When you see some pics of Troy when he was your age, he gives dreadlock vibes. He doesn't have any photos, but he didn't have dread. No. What hair did you have?
Just wide hair. That was a good thing.
Do you and Troy ever argue? If so, do you talk it out or just forget and move on? We don't fight.
Ah.
Probably the last fight we had, like fight, was just before we went to Byron, and that was before COVID.
It was like more than 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was before we got engaged. And so over 2 years ago was our last real fight. We like bicker,
Yeah.
but we don't fight. But when we do fight, I always want to talk, and Troy doesn't.
No, you just mope around and then you're like, say sorry.
No, I cry and then he doesn't come and say anything. I'll go cry in the bed and wait for him to come in, and he doesn't come in. Every time.
Fuck, that happens rarely.
Like once every 2 years.
Yeah. Literally, we don't fight at all.
Nah. We don't have anything to fight about.
No.
Yeah, Troy doesn't talk it out. But no, to be honest, I don't talk it out either. I just say sorry.
Yeah, and that's it. We're done with it.
And then he will say sorry.
Yeah, and then we
Because
forget
it's
about
always
it.
his fault, and then it's done.
Oh, here we go.
You're hoping for a girl with your second. I was. And then I only wanted a girl for me. Like, so that I could have like a little, because there's so many boys in the house, like Carly's boy, Hudson, him. But then, and I wanted to use the name Callie. But then once we found out it was a boy, I thought about it, and I feel like it's better that it was a boy because Huds has a brother.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm just a boy mum. I don't know what I would do if I had a girl. I don't think I'd do that.
Yeah. Plus, they'll get to that age where they just stop playing with each other because they have different interests.
What's your least favourite thing about one another? I know mine. No, I've got two. Number one.
Oh, even I got one.
Number one.
This is some bullshit right here. Keep going, go on.
Every time I clean the bathroom, I wipe it all down, wipe the mirror down every time. Literally, that day or the next day, he'll shave all over the sink and doesn't clean it. Ever.
I
never.
do a little
No. He gets a wipe, wipes it all around, and then leaves it in a pile for starters, and then scattered all the other hairs there. You don't clean it.
Alright.
That's my number one. Number two, he's snoring.
Oh, yeah.
He lays on his back.
Yeah, this is mine. This will fucking be a segue into mine.
He lays on his back, and he knows he can't lay on his back without snoring, and it's so fucking loud, and I have to kick him and tell him to get off his back every night, multiple times.
Alright, fucking for starters, I have recordings on my phone of you snoring, and I just like, you know what, I'll leave it. She's having a sleep, I'll leave it. If I just make a little, she's like, get off your back. Nah, you've got to get off your back. Roll over. I cannot get a full night's sleep without that. So no matter what, even when the kids have grown up, I'll still have her wake me up where I can sleep for the rest of my life.
But yours is loud. And I've got a condition, I think, because I can't stand when people breathe heavy or snore. Any sounds like that, it literally makes me want to like fight. And if he just goes in bed, I can't.
That's what I mean.
I have to tell him to get off
You wake
his
me
back.
up for that. Just for the head.
I can't handle it.
Deep breathing.
But it's been like that my whole life when my dad and I used to go on holidays.
See, that's not my problem.
Nah, but I can't handle you doing it. When my dad and I used to go on holidays and sleep in the same room, I would have to do the same to him. It's been my whole life. I've been fighting it. It's a condition. If you Google it, it's something. What's your fave thing about being a boy mum? Well, to be honest, I'm not very much of a girly girl, I wouldn't say. Am I? And even when I was growing up, I was a bit of a tomboy, so I think it just suits me, like it's my vibe. I love dressing them, like in cool stuff. And it's just more fun, like you don't have to be so gentle, like you can be rough. And like, you don't have to be so delicate and like careful.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you would, I don't know because I don't have a girl, but I'm assuming it would be different.
Yeah, that's a bit fucking wild, isn't it?
How'd you find your kids' names? Well, you guys know with Dusty. How did we actually find it?
The first...
I mentioned it,
What?
Dusty, first because I said that
Yeah,
girl
you
on
said
Instagram had it.
Yeah. But with Hudson, we sat on either end of the couch.
Yeah.
And
Brought up a list.
we brought up a list.
It was
like
the day we
a kid.
found out he was a boy, so it was early. It was like how many weeks? Like 10 weeks or something.
Yeah. And we're like, right, let's go through some names. And we just went through the names, and then we got to Hudson. It was within 5 minutes, and we were like, that's it.
Yeah. I said, what about Hudson? He was like, yeah, I like that. And then that was it. We never looked at another
We just
name.
closed the app and then just kept scrolling at other stuff on it.
Yeah, we were done.
Yeah.
It was the most easiest thing because we loved it when we first saw it.
Yeah.
We didn't even have to think about another name. Not like Dusty. Dusty didn't get named until, well, we named him Knox only, I would have been like nearly 30 weeks when we named him that. And then we didn't name him Dusty until like
a month before.
Yeah, 36 weeks or something.
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah, so far so good.
We haven't read it out loud. They don't.
Oh. You're like,
The questions,
Yeah.
how do you think the boys will be together growing up and how are they already? Growing up, I think they'll have fights because Huds is,
he always wants to fight. He wants to fight me.
yeah, Huds is very angry.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have a lot of patience.
Nah.
So they'll probably fight, but Dusty's so placid so far. I feel like Dusty would just let him walk all over him
Yeah.
because Dusty's just an angel.
He's quiet.
Yeah, I feel like he'll be a bit of a pushover.
Yeah.
But right now, Hudson's obsessed with him. And like every second he's like, let me see
his face.
Yeah, let me see his face, let me see his eyes, and like makes us show him. And like even when we change his nappy, he's like, let me see his poo. All the time. He loves him. Were you guys worried about what people thought about falling pregnant so quick? A little bit. I was worried. Because we fell pregnant after 3 months. I was worried about my dad mostly, but he was so happy.
Yeah.
My dad was like excited.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't really talk to a lot of people, so I didn't really have any friends to worry about. Like I couldn't care less what any of my friends thought. It was mostly just my dad and my grandparents at the time. Remember, I made my dad tell them because I was so scared.
Oh yeah.
But
Other than that, other than family,
yeah, were you worried to tell your mum?
I think a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they were all good. Cool.
No one cared,
No.
but we were worried
Yeah.
at the start. But then once we shared that we were pregnant and realised that everyone was excited,
fine with it, yeah.
then we literally didn't care and never thought about it again.
No.
Except actually when I used to go to doctor's appointments and like the midwives and stuff at the hospital, I used to lie and say we're together for longer because I was embarrassed.
Yeah, 3 years.
Well, I didn't want to say like 3 months.
You hussy.
How do you deal with no sleep with a newborn? With Dusty, I get sleep. But with Huds, how do I deal with it? I just cried.
Yeah.
I just literally cried all the time.
And we used to take turns.
Like,
We'd say, all right.
I'd do the first. No, Troy would put him to sleep.
Yeah.
And that would take ages. And Troy would have to, because Hudson had bottles. Troy would
I'd be upstairs.
break his back, rocking him, trying to feed him.
Walking around. She's downstairs watching TV, just like, oh yeah.
But that was like his job.
Sometimes it'd be 45 minutes just walking around upstairs.
And then I'd do the next one, and then we'd just take it in turn. So he never wakes up. I would have to wake up anyway to wake him up. But we just took it in turns, but we still got no sleep. It was rough. Which was my easiest pregnancy. Dusty, 100%.
Yeah.
My pregnancy.
Yeah.
I was so sick with Hudson every
Every
day.
day.
Every time we left the house, I'd have to vomit before we left, and then I'd vomit while we were out.
Even 8 months pregnant, we'll be driving, pull over, spew.
I vomited, even the day I gave birth, I was still vomiting. They had to give me anti-nausea.
Yeah.
I was so sick, and I was so tired, and I had bad anxiety that I didn't know was anxiety at the time. That was rough. That was the worst time of my life.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't get pregnant for so long, because I absolutely hated it. With Dusty, I was sick till 18 weeks, and then after that, it was a breeze.
Just stopped.
Yeah. The only bad things was reflux and then pain in between my legs. How do we meet? There's some videos on my TikTok where I've explained it, but basically I used to work at Woolies, and Troy, that was his local Woolies.
Yeah.
And he'll come in, and I wouldn't let anyone serve him. They knew that I had to. I was a manager. And I used to call him my boyfriend. So all the workers, I was like, my boyfriend's here. And then they would say, Shannon, your boyfriend's here. And then we just started talking.
Yeah.
Because I was going to leave. And I told him I was going to leave.
Yeah.
So then he introduced himself properly.
Yeah. Because I thought this is my only chance.
And then I went to his house and I never went home. After. That's not even a joke.
Just moved in first night.
So literally, I didn't go home once.
Yeah.
But that's how we met. There is a full, like a few videos on my TikTok that goes into more detail. But let me know if you can't find it, if it's too deep, and I'll do another one. Troy, how does it feel to be insta famous? Oi. He just found out the other day.
Yeah.
Someone from his work told him what I did.
Bitch.
He had no idea.
I thought that shit was organic.
It was literally like, what, 3 days ago he found out.
Oh, yeah. But they're
That was funny.
following. They're following now just because.
Yeah, now he gets some on his own.
One every 2 days.
Yeah, but that was so funny. That was one of the best things I've ever done. He had no clue. And one of you guys messaged him on there saying something that he had said. And he thought it was this big conspiracy theory.
I'm like, fucking, how the fuck does she know that?
He thought she was like a psychic or something. And he was like, should I message her? And I was like, nah, I wouldn't.
Nah, just leave it. I'm like, how does she know what I said last night between me and you?
But he never thought that it was me. You didn't think that I said it.
I didn't think you'd just do something like that.
Yeah, because I just randomly. Do you two ever take a bad pic? That's so nice, but yes, we do.
I know. Yeah.
When Tori tells me to be candid. I don't know how.
She doesn't do candid.
The only pose I've got is a smile. Like,
One pose. That's like me when I get a photo. The first photo, once I lock into that smile, and they're like, we'll take a few. I'm just frozen like that.
Literally. Mine, I'll do the same, but I'll move. I just go.
I don't even move. I'm locked in. I'm like, if this doesn't look good, we're done.
Would Troy go to Woolies for something he didn't need just to see you?
Yeah, fucking know.
He was there every day.
Every day.
And you just get random shit.
Random
like
stuff,
lollies
yeah.
or like broccoli.
Yeah. I just take it home, just be like, throw it in, go to bed.
Your family is absolutely perfect. Is there anything else you want to do, or is life complete? You want to move to Queensland
Yeah.
once Troy gets made redundant.
Yeah.
I want to have my own business. I want Troy to be able to, like, we want to make enough money so that we can both stay home. We want to get a caravan and travel Australia with the kids. Yeah. And obviously take them overseas. What is one thing you were never told before having kids that you now know as a parent? One thing, I thought that the newborn stage was the hardest.
Yes.
But now I know that's bullshit.
Yeah.
This age, 3.5.
Three's the worst.
What does Troy do for work? He works in a factory. Do you miss being childless? Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Like,
when you have your days off. And
yeah, when you just want to relax.
That's the only time. But
Yeah, I wouldn't change it, but like, sometimes you think, oh fuck, it would be so easy to just not have a kid by now.
just for a day.
Yeah. Your favourite memory together? Probably now mine would be when we had Dust. Like in the thing. I'm not saying he's my favourite, but that experience was my favourite experience. Like the birth.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because
it was nice. Like when I had
first time was a bit traumatic.
Yeah,
Wasn't it?
having Hudson was like the same, like actual having the kid and bringing the kid, like owning it was a great memory. Like the same for both of them.
Yeah.
But Hudson's birth was
But
terrible and Troy didn't even get to watch it.
Yeah.
So Dusty's birth, like the actual birth, is my favourite memory. What's yours?
Yeah, it's hard to say the birth of both of them. But I reckon Byron Bay was cool. Just when we loaded everything up.
Yeah, you're right. We got a camper van and we did a road trip to Byron. Where else?
It was just everywhere along the way.
We stopped at a few places on the way there and on the way back, and it was so fun.
Yeah.
We had hard.
Just the funny thing, like
stupid shit happening.
This big camper van, and they were like, when we pulled up to the first campsite, and they're like, yeah, just park over there. And then we looked at the parking spot where I had to park. I've never driven one of these things. And I was like...
And I'll never forget when we went and picked it up and I drove the car home and it was in Cronulla or Cornell, like in that area.
Yeah.
Like Caringbah. And the roads are like small and there was cars everywhere and Troy's in this big... It was huge. It was like a full camper van with like a double bed in the back, bunk beds in the front.
Yeah, it was massive.
It
slept
was
like
so fun.
9 people or something.
Yeah, it was huge, but it was so fun. And then we didn't know that you weren't meant to go to the toilet in the van. And the stench. Like we emptied it, but...
Yeah, you couldn't, like,
you couldn't get
towards
rid
the
of
end
the
we were like,
smell.
fucking hand this thing back.
Remember you tipped it out on the side of the road on the way home?
I had to stop.
That
like,
had shit in it too, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was so bad. But yeah, that was fun. That was a great holiday. I'd do it again.
Yeah.
100%. That was really fun.
Yeah, that was good.
What was your first date and where? The first time we kissed was at Park Central. That was when we first like met outside of Woolies.
Oh, I think the first time we went out was when we went to West.
Was it?
Yeah, and then remember you're like, let's fucking go skinny dipping in the pool of the fucking apartments.
We went to West. If you guys are from here, you'll know. We went to Westleys, and then the units opposite it, like there's a big block of units, like huge hundreds of houses.
It's not a hotel, it's actually people's homes.
It's a house, there's people's houses.
Apartments.
And we were so drunk, and then we left there, and we left West, and we were like, let's go skinny dipping. And we went, and the lady came out.
Yeah, one of the owners of the house, she just come out of her house and goes, what the fuck are you doing?
But she was talking to us like normal.
Yeah.
We had to quickly get dressed.
Yeah.
And then she kept wanting to talk and we bailed.
Oh,
we were like,
we're
see
going.
ya. That's right, that was our first date.
Yeah.
And we went skinny dipping. Labour inducing tips. We always laughed about this.
Oh. Doesn't matter what you do.
Nah, the stretch and sweep. Warmed up second.
Yeah, but all the other stuff.
I tried everything else, nothing else worked. The day I got stretch and sweep, literally that hour, it worked. The easiest and hardest thing about age gap relationship. Well, there's nothing hard now.
No, I don't find anything easy or hard. It's just normal.
Yeah, it's like it's not even.
If you get along, it's just like any other relationship, doesn't it?
You wouldn't know that.
Nah.
With us, it's like a normal thing. No one.
He
hangs out with my friends.
We could be the same age.
Yeah.
People would get along the same.
And we all hang out with everyone, and no one thinks of him as older. How did you meet? You guys already know. And were your families worried about the age gap? No one. Our families didn't even. It's like it's not even a thing.
Oh, no one's even said anything.
Nah. I was worried to tell my family, and I lied to them until the day I told my dad I was pregnant was the day that they found out about his age, because they were like, "How old is he?" And
you used to tell me you were born at this year, right? And then she changed the year every time. I'm like, fuck, I don't know.
And because we would go to my dad's and do like games night and drinks and stuff, and sometimes it would be a question about something older, and he would know the answer. And so he'd answer it. And so obviously my dad and his wife would know, but no one ever said anything about it. It wasn't until when I told them I was pregnant, and then Dad was like, "How old is he?" Like as a joke, like just because he obviously knew that he was older. And then I told him, and literally no one, they were just like, "Oh." And then
they didn't care.
No one said anything.
No.
Like it was like it wasn't even a thing.
Yeah.
Has your relationship changed since having kids? Well, we just don't go out as often. Yeah. That's the only thing. But we haven't
between
changed.
each other, no.
Nah. How are you finding being parents of 2 kids compared to 1? So easy. So much easier than I thought it would be, because Dusty's so chill.
Yeah.
If he was like
baby,
Hudson, it would be rough. But it's so easy. It's like he's not even here half the time. Yeah. Guys get any parent/alone time? Not a lot.
Nah.
When Huds goes to bed at like 7:30. But then we've got Dusty now. But Dusty's like he's not there. But we don't really go out on enough dates. I don't think. That's one thing we should work on.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do with the kids?
Give them to my dad.
Both of them. Just go here.
Like not for overnight. Like a few hours. Like go to dinner. That's one thing that we need to do more often. Because when we never have time, just us.
No.
Like, I couldn't tell you the last time.
There's a short-term goal.
Yeah, that's what we should do. More date nights. Yeah. Or we can even sometimes take Dust, but it would be good to have like 2 hours without a kid.
Yeah.
Do you get paid maternity leave? Yes, I took half pay so that I could extend it longer. So I've taken a year off so far, but yeah, I've taken a year off. But my work allows up to 2 years. You can extend it. But so far a year. What was your dream job?
Architect.
That's
Remember?
Right, yeah.
And I did work experience as an architect when I was like fucking 16.
And you hated it?
Yeah, I hated it. It was boring. And I went on my lunch break. And then at the time there was payphones. Went to the nearest payphone and said, "Dad."
Just redo that.
Yeah, right. And I went to the nearest payphone. I went to the nearest payphone, and then I called Dad and said, "Dad, come get me." And then that was it.
Well, my dream job used to change every 3 months. I've done that many courses and started that many things. At one point I wanted to be a nurse, then I was going to do nursing so that I could do injectables at one point, then I wanted to be a teacher. The only thing that I've ever stuck to, I started to drink it, the only thing that I ever stuck to was that I knew I wanted to work for myself one day. And that's the only thing. In terms of other jobs working for people, I've never really had a dream job because I always just changed my mind. Because I knew that I didn't want to work for someone else. Your favourite thing about each other? Probably your sense of humour is my favourite thing. You're funny. No, he's funny. Most of the time. You guys don't see it yet. I keep telling him to be himself on the camera, but he's just a bit nervous. But eventually you'll see he's funny. And he does dances and sings and stuff. Not real singing.
No, not like performance and shit.
Like he'll just burst out into song and dance. What's yours? Don't think about it too hard.
Nah, I think you're funny as well.
Oh, thanks.
You're beautiful.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I like your looks too.
Oh, thanks.
Did Troy first think of you when you guys first met? You obviously liked me, my looks.
Yeah.
And I was funny. Was I?
You're funny.
I don't really remember our conversations because I was so anxious and nervous.
Yeah.
I used to be so nervous. Every time I'd serve him, I'd just be like...
Yeah, but it was the attraction first
Yeah.
because we didn't speak for like
Yeah, we would just smile at each other.
for months.
Yeah, so it was definitely just
Yeah,
looks
just the
at
looks
the
thing at the
start.
start.
Because he would walk in and then I would smile at him and he would smile at me and that's all it was for a
A
long
long time, and then we just left it at that. But then we were happy with that. We're just like
Yeah, it was just a little
yeah.
thing.
And then it just
And then we
happened
spoke.
that we got along.
Yeah. Yeah, lucky we could have not been like compatible.
Yeah.
Are you guys engaged? Yes, we got engaged when we went to Byron when we did that road trip. That was like that was pre-COVID. Isn't that longer than 2 years? Who shows more PDA? What's the D stand for again? Public display. Oh, display.
We don't do
In
in public.
Like we don't hook up or anything in public.
It makes us sick when we.
Yeah, when I see people do that shit in public, I nearly vomit. So probably the same. Like we're not shy or anything, but we just don't.
Yeah.
It's not our vibe. Fave meals that the other person cooks.
Oh.
You don't cook a lot. I used to love his spaghetti.
Oh, you don't do.
But I
pasta
don't
anymore.
I don't really eat pasta anymore. I got turned off pasta when I was pregnant for some reason.
Yeah.
Like the potato jam.
Yeah, that
thing.
was one. That was up there.
Oh no, my favorite meal that Troy cooks is steak.
Is it?
He gets perfect steak every time. I could eat it every night if it wasn't $20 for 2 steaks. To cook that pasta with the chorizo.
Oh, I was about to say it's something with chorizo in it because
Yeah.
you're like, you know what this needs? She'd make a dish, and like it'd be something new, and she'd be like, we'll be sitting there eating it, and she's like, you know what this needs? Chorizo.
In everything.
Everything.
I think that's it. If you guys enjoyed it, please leave a comment. Let us know any other videos that you think that we can film together.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow Troy on Insta. I'll leave it in the description.
I got up like these shorts for this time.